Ross Tucker, CBS Sports Westwood One NFL college football analyst and host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Back at home in Pennsylvania, he took the red eye out of San Francisco last night. How you feeling?
Fine. Yeah, I feel good. I feel better than I would feel if I did what Fritzy thought I did. Fritzy texted me, Dan. Fritzy thought I flew to London to call the game on radio.
No.
I was double checking to make sure that he was in fact at Levi Stadium. It wasn't one of these things where he's in some studio in England doing it with his partner in England and they're just kind of doing it from there or something. But there's a question.
So Todd, you thought I was in San Francisco all week, including on set with you guys, and then you thought I flew to London from San Francisco to call a game in a studio?
It would seem like a
and
very
I was
odd
already
thing
back
to do.
in Pennsylvania?
That would be, you get a lot of frequent flyer miles, but it would be very strange if you were asked to do that by the Talk Sport folks.
Yeah, I mean, Todd, I'm one of your biggest supporters, but say it out loud. Like, say it out loud first.
I probably shouldn't have asked that question.
He did talk about doing the game, and the broadcaster from England was coming over to San Francisco.
I know, but I've made mistakes in the past, and it's still stuck in my head with like lines where we're promoting things, and I've put you in a bad spot where that's not the name of the book, or that's not the game that was on Fox or whatever. And I'm like, so now triple and quadruple checking everything, even at the risk of sounding stupid like I did here.
Okay. How would you sum up the first half, Ross?
Oh, geez. I never know. Is it a defensive struggle or an offensive struggle? And how much of that was good defense and how much of it was bad offense? I got to tell you, it was good defense, really good defense, but neither offense played very well. And I got to tell you, as a former offensive lineman, I was really frustrated and disappointed with how poor of a job both teams did picking up blitzes. I mean, they ran the same Devin Witherspoon blitz off the edge where he comes underneath the tackle 6 or 7 times in the game. I'm not sure the Patriots picked it up once. There were mental errors by the Seahawks where guys were coming free. Interestingly, Sam Darnold did a better job of avoiding free runners like Milton Williams and not taking sacks than Drake May, where you thought May had the advantage in athleticism, and he ran for more yards. But Darnold, multiple times, a guy came scot-free. He made a miss and threw it or ran or whatever. Meanwhile, Drake May is standing there and lets himself get sacked by a bull rush from Riley Mills or steps up into a sack. I thought the pocket movement, pocket presence from the quarterbacks was one of the differences in the game.
Yeah, I kept waiting for them to give a little bit of help on the left side of the line or change up the rhythm here. They kept doing the same thing, and Seattle kept doing the same thing.
Dan, I'm so glad to hear you say that. After the first sack that Will Campbell gave up, I said any other pressure that comes from that side, that's on Josh McDaniels. That's on the coaching staff. And Josh was my coordinator when I was in New England. I'm a big fan of Josh. He does a terrific job. But the kid was really struggling. I mean, he struggled the last 5 or 6 weeks. Everybody knew his confidence was shot. Everybody knew you could go speed to power. And so did the Seahawks. And they just kept doing it. And I was surprised that the Patriots didn't slide more to help him, didn't give him more chip help. I mean, that was one of the biggest differences in the game. What was it 14 pressures or 17? I think he gave up 14 pressures in one football game.
And that's your blind side, too. So you got 2 first-year guys on your left side protecting your back. But I look at it as that was an elite defensive performance, special teams performance. You got enough out of Kenneth Walker to keep the defense honest. Sam Darnold, no turnovers. And that's a recipe for success in a regular season game or a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Kenneth Walker, he's one of the craziest runners I've ever seen. I mean, Dan, he almost never runs the ball where he's supposed to go. Almost never. And sometimes he gets in trouble and loses yardage as a result. But it'll supposed to be an inside run to the left. He'll bounce it way outside. It'll supposed to be an outside run to the left. He'll cut it all the way back behind everything to the right. And it costs him every once in a while. But, both teams were aware of it. I talked with both coaching staffs, for the Raw Sucker podcast last week. They knew if you're an O lineman, D lineman, tight end, whatever, you never know where the ball's going to go with Walker. And look, he was very productive. He had a terrific night. He's going to give you some lost yardage plays. I'll be very curious to see what the market's like for him in free agency. Yeah. There's probably some pressure on the Seahawks to bring him back now. He's Super Bowl MVP.
Moving forward, we talked about this leading up to the Super Bowl, and even this morning, the Patriots are set up for success. Maybe got there a year early, but they do have young players. Don't have to pay Drake May yet. You got draft picks. You got salary cap money here. And then you have Seattle, who is already made. So moving forward here, Seattle have a better chance of returning than New England.
Yeah, I think so. Just because I thought over the last month or so, I thought the Seahawks were the best team in the NFL, and they proved that. The issue with them is that division is going to be tough. Yeah. I mean, the Rams aren't going anywhere. Stafford said he's coming back. The Niners are going to get Fred Warner and Nick Bosa back. That's sort of the issue for the Seahawks, is just how competitive their division is. Conversely, for the Patriots, I couldn't help but wonder watching that game, Dan. It just feels like it would have been a lot more competitive if it were the Buffalo Bills, And look, they lost to the Broncos.
I'm sure Buffalo feels the same. I'm sure the Rams feel like they should have. How many teams do you think watched that game and said, we could win the Super Bowl?
Well, those two for sure. And honestly, a Bills-Rams game might have been even more compelling, but you got to win. You got to win when you're in the playoffs, when you have the chance. The Rams had the chance to be the number one seed. They blew it in that Week 16 game. That kind of came back to haunt them. And the Bills had more than enough chances against the Broncos that they weren't able to get done. I'll be curious also to see how Drake May comes out of this. He looked rattled. He had an awesome season, but this playoff run, I think it wore on him. I don't know how much was the shoulder, but it was mentally. Like, there were times he was just standing there like a statue. He was taking sacks. He wasn't as decisive as he should have been. He missed some throws. I never know, Dan, and there's no way to know if there will be carryover in the next year from that standpoint, because you got to think, at a minimum, his confidence was not where it needed to be. He never looked comfortable. He never was able to get to a good place at all.
And I put that on the coaching staff because you have to put him in situations where get a couple of plays, get comfortable, get any kind of rhythm. I would never have him that deep in the backfield because it just he was sitting there. He was a target instead of, and I said this to Coach Cowher, I would have had the Tom Brady playbook. That ball is going to be out. Now, they didn't have weapons, and it's easy to say get the ball out, but I certainly like that option better than having him stand back there in 7 steps back and letting them just go, hey, who wants to tackle him?
What happened to screen passes? What happened to...
They had a couple of them, and then I just thought they gave up on the run as well. And because Seattle was like, I don't know, you're going to run? Okay, we're going after Drake May.
Well, and, Stephon Diggs, at some point, you got to throw the ball to him and hope he makes a play for you. And they didn't really do that. And I go back again to the Devin Witherspoon blitz. That's not pro football, Dan. In pro football, a lot of times, especially in a big game, the defense will have a new blitz. We used to call it the flavor of the week, right? They have a new blitz we haven't seen, so they get you on it the first time. These guys now have iPads or whatever they're called, tablets on the sideline. We didn't even used to have those where they can watch exactly how the blitz is coming. The fact that the Seahawks still got home with Witherspoon, including the game-clinching play 4 more times, that blows my mind away that Josh McDaniels and the Patriots coaching staff allowed themselves to continually get beat by essentially the same blitz. That should not and cannot happen.
Is Sam Darnold now on scholarship the rest of his career?
No, I don't think it works that way, especially not with John Schneider in Seattle. I mean, he's shown that with Russell Wilson. He's shown that with Geno Smith. I mean, obviously he's in a terrific place, and they're happy to have him. It is funny. You know what you guys should do or I should do? There were a lot of people, including a lot of Seahawks fans, that were not happy that they traded Geno Smith to the Raiders and felt like the organization was A, being cheap, and B, that it was a major downgrade from Geno Smith to Darnold. Go back and watch that.
And the media, the Seattle media too.
It's for sure. And ironically, the Raiders went out in the opener. The Raiders and Pete Carroll went out in the opener and beat the Patriots. The team that ended up, I think that was like the only win that Geno Smith and Pete Carroll really had last year. And obviously that's the team that goes to the Super Bowl. But I'm so happy for Darnold. I mean, to play for 5 teams, you know, I think I told you guys this last week because I played for 5 teams. You're not that good. Because if you were really good, you would only play for 1 or 2. But you're not that bad because if you're really bad, you'd only play for 1 or 2.
Go get some sleep.
Oh, I'm going right now. I will literally be asleep by 11 a.m. It's going to be epic.
Have a good time in London.
Fritzy, do not get a hold of Ross. Okay?
Yeah, but it's like 6 hours later. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Thank you, Ross.
See you guys.
Ross Tucker, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Okay.
We're going to do this now?
I mean, you thought he was in England.
He really threw me under the bus there. That was a text conversation that did not need to be brought up on the air.
So you thought he was in San Francisco doing his prep work.
Well, I thought he was at Levi's, but I wanted to make sure that for some strange reason, because he was doing the game for like the BBC, that he wasn't doing it at some studio in England. I just wanted to make absolutely sure so you wouldn't look bad and say it's something that wasn't factually correct. So by being extra careful, I look like the dope, which I am.
But you got the BBC wrong. It was
Talk Sport. I mean, you know, England. It's all part of it's all under the England umbrella, the British.
It's the UK.
The UK.